Give our pastor a warm welcome as he's coming up to the stage. So, all right. Oh, man.
That was good.
Ooh, that was a good one. That was a good one.
Yeah.
The bro hug.
Bro hug. Hey, how's this potluck? Is this great? Is this awesome? It looks like we about ate all the food. I didn't think we could eat all the food, but it was good. So
super impressive.
Yeah, Jennifer and I, when we were in college ministry and then I was in seminary, there was a church out in the Mississippi Delta, Horseshoe Baptist Church, and they supported us. And we would drive out there, and there's about 25 people in the whole church. And Jennifer would sing, and I would preach, and they always had dinner on the grounds. Anytime we came, it was a big deal.
It's special.
It's special.
It adds so much more to it. Yeah.
So this is kind of like that, but we just decided to do it during the service, so everybody would stick around, or people wouldn't have to stick around. They could just be here for the service. So.
Exactly. Thank you guys so much for your flexibility. I know it's kind of chaotic, but I hope everybody's got some full tummies as a result of it.
Looks like it.
Well, man, dude, this white hoodie looks amazing. Can you tell them some?
Thank you. Yeah.
Can you tell them some? Can we have like a commercial break before?
A little commercial on.
Yeah, before we do the Q&A.
So this is the new Graystone hoodie. They're for sale at guest services, $20. GS Graystone or Graystone students.
That's right. There's the shameless plug that Graystone students.
Somebody also said Graystone security.
Graystone security.
So it could be whatever you want it to be.
I love it. Well, hey, we're gonna dive in and have some Q&A time. Actually, kind of some different questions than we had the first service as well.
Okay.
So to kind of change it up a little bit. But we got to start off with some funny ones to start us off. This is kind of like on our living room. You know, it's kind of in the back on a couch. So we're just talking as if you guys are the only ones right in front of us. So we're just having just a normal conversation. The first one is, how much do you bench press?
How much do I bench press?
Yeah. Pretty sure I could take you, but I mean, just.
Well, obviously I work out, but I don't do heavy weights. I do light weights.
Okay.
There was a time when I was getting ready for the honeymoon that I bulked up, and the whole plan was to bulk up and chisel down. And so 23 years later, I'm still trying to chisel.
Gotcha.
I'm still trying to chisel down.
Yeah, we're all a work in progress.
I definitely can't bench press as much as you.
Yeah,
I know that.
I love it. Here's some more questions. So somebody asked for the Wi-Fi password. I'm not going to tell you. So where is the future Graystone beach campus going to be located? We're going to have another campus eventually.
Yeah.
But someone's I guess prophetically saying, where's the beach campus happening? Where's that happening?
Well, there's huge debate about that.
Okay.
But really, wherever anyone who wants to donate a beach house, it can be there. I'm totally wide open.
Right. Start at a home church, and then
So we need a place to live.
Yeah.
Right.
throw that out there. I love it.
No, I'm open. Seaside's good with me. I like the East Coast.
Okay.
I mean, La Jolla, California would work. So
I love it.
But it's definitely been prophecy. It's been spoken. Yeah.
Here's a good one. Let's kind of dive in. What led you to Georgia?
By the way, I don't know what these questions are.
We've not gone over any of these. He was very intentional about that. What led you to Georgia? You and your wife, Jennifer. How did you choose where to plant the church? So you started Graystone. What led you to Georgia, and what led you to do it here?
Well, I was in college ministry for 7 years, and I was at West Georgia College, the school formerly known as West Georgia College, the State University of West Georgia now. Mm-hmm. But several of the guys that I had led to Christ and discipled there were from this area. So they had gone to South Gwinnett High School, Brookwood High School, and so they recruited us here, and they told us about Grayson was a growing area. Gwinnett's best kept secret. Mm-hmm. It's actually not a secret anymore.
Not a secret.
And so we had a core group, and we started in our living room.
I love it.
And so that's why we moved here.
That's right. That's cool. That's a great story. There's a lot more details there. I love hearing you share that story. We did ask this the last service, but I feel like this is such a good one. I hear this a lot in student ministry. How do you know you're living in God's will? How do you know you're living in God's will for your life? What you're doing, how you're living your life, how would you answer that question?
Well, I think the majority of God's will for us is already written in Scripture.
Yeah.
So it's His Word spoken to us. And so I think walking with God, having that relationship with Him, getting time in the Word every day, not only praying, speaking to Him, but listening to Him.
Right.
I think God speaks to us through His Word. He speaks to us through the Holy Spirit living inside of us. He speaks to us through circumstances and just being sensitive to the doors that He's opening in our lives. He speaks to us through people. So I think getting godly counsel and wise counsel. The series we're about to go through, Experiencing God, is knowing and doing the will of God. So it ties into the question.
Very much so.
And I love the series because a lot of times we'll have our plan. God, this is what I'm doing, and I want you to bless what I'm doing. But the experiencing God is okay, where is God moving? How is He at work?
Yeah.
And how can I join Him? And so the whole idea is having a relationship with Him. He speaks to us. He invites us to join Him. And then we have this step of faith, or this crisis of belief that we have to step out and be obedient to Him. But as we're obedient to Him, He draws us closer to Him. So
That's good.
I think it's going to be good.
That's good. It was a good answer. It was a good answer. How long, and you preach on Sunday morning, typical Sunday morning, how long does it take you on a typical Sunday to prepare for a Sunday morning service? Can you kind of let us know the behind the scenes, the week in and week out of what it looks like to plan for a typical Sunday morning?
Actually, no planning at all.
Okay.
I just show up and wing it.
It's just a gift. Okay.
Trust in the power of the Holy Spirit.
Wow. Man,
Which is what I'm doing right now.
That's
No, it's interesting about, I view preparing a message is kind of like an art form, and I'm working on the message throughout. To give you a direct answer, about 20 hours.
Okay.
About 20 hours, but it's not like I'm going to sit down and work. It's like thinking about it the whole time, and inspiration hits, and then I will write it out. But typically about 20 hours.
20 hours.
Yeah.
That's a good answer. Okay. I'm 19 hours, so that's cool. That's good. That's
You're
good.
19. Depends on how good the message is.
Right. That's true.
Yeah.
That's true. Here's another one. This is a good one because we're getting ready to go into small group season, and I've heard this from several people. What should I do if I'm afraid to join a small group? What would you do? Like, what would you say to someone who's never joined a small group or has not done it for a while and they're kind of timid about doing that? What would you say? What am you afraid?
Well, I think you just got to go for it. I mean, it's always going to be a little bit awkward if you can join a small group with someone that you already know, or kind of go in together. That would be a good thing. Or maybe meet someone here. Maybe meet someone at the potluck and develop a relationship. But I was talking with a guy last semester who he's been at Graystone for 6 or 7 years, and he was never jumped into a small group, and he finally jumped into one last semester, and it was completely life-changing for him. So I think you just have to go for it. The thing about small group is you're not committing to somebody for life. You're just committing for the next 8 weeks.
Right.
Our small groups meet every other week, and so it's not a lifelong commitment. If you don't like that group of people, it's like, hey, God's leading me to join another small group.
You don't really have to write that down and hand it to them when you leave, right?
It's just, hey, I'm jumping out. I'm moving on. But most of the time, though, I mean, we have some small groups been together for years and years and years, and they're lifelong friends. And
that's awesome.
There's folks in small group who were in my wedding, and vice versa. So lifelong friends can be developed in small group, and I think God will lead you to the one that He wants you to be a part of.
I love it. Love it. It's clear you have a heart for missions and outreach, but since today we have food here, what country has the best food other than the USA?
Well, I'd have to say Brazil.
Brazil. Got some claps.
Brazilian churrascaria, and anyone that they cook the meat I think they put it in rock salt and put it over an open flame, and all you can eat. They bring it to your table, and you just slice off the meat. And
Let's go.
I would say Brazil. You get fresh bread, fresh fruit. You think you'd lose weight on mission trips. I gained weight, in Brazil. Now, Bangkok, Thailand, I lost about 20 pounds. Yeah. It's hot in Thailand. And all I have is rice and chicken.
Rice and chicken.
Staple. Cow pot guy.
Okay. All right. What is your favorite food in the USA? Like, what would you say your favorite food is here to eat?
Favorite food?
I think you've talked about it in one of your messages.
Well, we were just talking Cajun food.
Cajun food.
Definitely. I had a little crawfish etouffee the other day with Steve the neighbor. Invited me out to Papados, little crawfish etouffee. I love boiled crawfish.
Okay.
Gumbo, seafood gumbo. Yeah.
We have a good amount of staff from all three campuses that go to Graystone that are part of our staff. Here's a funny one. How many Graystone staff members could you outrun in a race?
Well, it depends on how far the race is.
That man.
Like,
you got a question within a question. I love it.
If it's 15 yards, I can outrun anybody. If it's a marathon, every single one of them could beat me in a marathon.
I love it.
So I'm not running 26 miles.
While we're talking about you, this is a good question just for you specifically. What would you do for a living if you weren't a pastor? I know God's called you to be a pastor, and what would you do? Did you have any other ambitions in life other than being a pastor?
Well, my degree in college was finance and real estate,
okay.
And so I don't know, maybe something in commercial real estate. I'd like to be a coach. I think being able to invest in young people's lives. I think our coaches and teachers, they're the missionaries out in the community, and they have a huge impact. If you ask people who had the greatest impact on your life, other than saying a parent or a sibling, people typically would say their coach. So probably coach.
Okay.
I don't know.
Here's another one. I think a student asked, what's a really good question? What's the best thing I could do as a student or college age, you can add that in there, to better succeed in life? What would you say like the best advice to say, okay, you need to do this one single thing to have success in life? That was the question.
Well, I mean, I obviously walk with God.
Walk with God.
Right? I mean, have that personal relationship and wake up each day and put Him at the center of everything that you do. The second question that I would say for the high school or college age is surrounding yourself with the right group of people.
So important.
Because if you show me your friends, I'll show you your future. Mm-hmm. And it's so important to be around the right group of people who have similar values and beliefs that you have.
That's good. Has there ever been a time where you didn't know what to do, and how did you press through? I think I've looked at my life, seen how things have unfolded in my life where, like, okay, I don't know what to do. The question is, how did you press through in that situation? What was the deciding factor? What helped you press through in that situation? I guess, yeah.
That's a tough question.
That's a tough question. Because each situation is different. Yeah.
I think if you don't know what to do, I think the most important thing is just waiting on God and waiting until He leads you to do what, Yeah. Waiting is hard.
Yeah.
Because I think waiting, you feel like you're not doing anything, but you're stepping out in faith, you're trusting God, you're waiting on Him, and sometimes that's the hardest season of life to be in.
To wait, yeah.
But I think wait until you have a clear direction from God before you move forward, because you definitely don't want to be going the wrong direction.
Yeah.
I don't know if that answers the question.
I think it answers the question. I don't think it's a runaround answer. I think it's very legit. I wanted to talk about finances a little bit because I feel like that's something that is near and dear to everybody's heart. The question is if I give of my tithe to a to a missions pastor, to something else, to a missions or other thing other than the church, does that count as my tithe? And when I say tithe, I mean my 10%, the 10% giving back to God. So is it okay if the question is, is it okay if I give my 10% to something else other than the church?
Well, I think different Christians are going to disagree on this.
Okay.
I mean, obviously, each person needs to give to where God's leading them to give.
Right.
I personally believe that the Bible is clear that you should give 10% to the church to bring it into the storehouse.
Right.
We give our tithe, our
Malachi.
first fruits to God. And then, we give our tithe, which is the first 10%, but then our offerings. I mean, every Sunday we say we're giving our tithes and offerings. And anything above the tithe is an offering. And so, what we do, we bring our tithes to the church, and then we give offering. We support other missionaries and other ministries and all of that. And so that's our offering.
That's good.
So,
that's good.
But the church also, 10% of what comes in also goes to all the, I think we support about 20 different missionaries and missions organizations and nonprofits and all that. So.
Would you say there's a lot of people in the room who have social media. Let's kind of talk about that a little bit, social media. How would you say, and this is a very vague question, but you can be vague with your answer, but how do you handle yourself on social media? Is it because I know some Christians who get very heated on social media, and then or the opposite is they completely stay silent about everything, so on social media. Where would you say on social media, how should you conduct yourself as a Christian? Or I guess a better question is, how would you make it more personal? How do you handle yourself on social media with just communication, things that are in the world? How would you do that? How would you say
Well, I think, social media is a tool, and it can be used for good or it can be used for bad. And I wouldn't conduct myself any different on social media than I would conduct myself as if we're having a personal conversation right here. And I think you can use social media to encourage people to be positive, to share Christ with people, to share the Word of God with people. I wouldn't want to use it to get into the negativity and talking bad about people. And now the referee of the Saints game.
That was my next question. Saints or Rams? That was my next.
Yeah, if I ever get excited on social media, it's typically over some type of sporting event or something.
I think we have maybe time for two more. What's your favorite Bible verse and why? What's your favorite go-to Bible verse, and explain the meaning of that to you?
Well, my calling comes from Philippians 1:21 and 22. It says, "For to me to live is Christ and to die is gain. If I'm going to go on living in the body, this will mean fruitful labor for me."
That's good.
And as a 19-year-old college student, I remember God speaking to me and saying, well, if you're going to live for Christ. Well, there's no other reason to live than to live for Christ. It's better to go to heaven.
Yeah.
I mean, we all can't wait to go to heaven. But if you're going to live for Christ. And then more specifically, he says it'll mean fruitful labor. And fruitful labor in the original Greek meant to share the gospel and build up the church. And it's from that verse I made a commitment. I'm going to live my life to share the gospel, to tell people about the good news of Jesus Christ, and to build up the church, to see people grow spiritually, discipleship. And that's what I have committed my life to. And so that I would say that would be my life verse.
I love it.
So.
I love it. Well, Jonathan, thank you so much for just sharing your heart and answering some of these questions our people are asking. And I guess the last one is, what's the one song that you listen to in the shower? No, I'm just kidding. No, we're not going to answer that question. But thank you so much for your heart, and thank you so much for being here. And we love you, and so glad you get to lead us. And we know that you spend time with the Lord every week before you get up every Sunday morning. So thank you guys so much for bringing in your questions. And Jonathan does have a blog that's going on. It's pretty new. I think there's like 3 episodes. Podcast. I said blog. I'm so sorry.
Yeah,
yes,
on
right?
Sundays.
That's right.
Maybe you can send me some of the questions we didn't get to.
Yeah. So even if your question didn't get answered, still text them in, and I'll give them to them.